Hello, welcome to the Honest Wargamer. I'm your host, Rob. I'm live with the Twitch chat, but that doesn't mean that the video that we're making right now is an absolutely 11 out of 10. I'm going to be reviewing 24 lists. I'm not going to review all the lists in detail, but I have an event, an Age of Sigmar event this weekend coming. So when you watch this video today on Friday, the event will be live, and you'll be able to track that game live on the website I'm using to run the event. The website I'm using to run the event is called Malarkey. You've seen me talk about it before. It's made by a group of wonderful people over in Sweden, and it's a place where you can either play your own personal games or you can like run events. I'd like to be very clear that I am not sponsored by Malarkey. In fact, I actually subscribe to Malarkey. So that's what that says up there. You can see up here, it says Behemat. So this is not a paid for ad. That's the point I want to make. Anyway, it's a website that I really believe in, and I think it's cool. So you can find out all of the results from the matches as they're happening live this weekend. I'll also be streaming some of those games onto my Honest Wargamer Patreon Discord, where people will be able to check out for that as well, which is cool. So if we go look at the lists, which is a button you can press and is, I think, public to go look at. You do need an account, maybe. You can go and check out the list, which is what we'll do now, and you can see all these players. But we've got like an absolute roster here, which is super good. We've got Dave Towsey representing Wales. We've got Farron representing England. Luke representing Wales. Natty representing Wales. Phil representing England in here as well. We've got a former champion at the event, Vinosh, as well. He's great. Dom representing England. Andy from YouTube. Dean from Bash. We've got some absolute legends at this event, which is really fun. So, you know, legitimate international players, as well as a bunch of other superstars. So it's fun. And most importantly, my good friend, Mr. Nathan Prescott. That's right. So you'll be able to check out Nathan Prescott. Now, some of you who have joined me kind of like over the past few months to a year, I used to do a show every Monday with Nathan, Dan, and James. It's a show we're probably going to bring back. That was our like podcast informal show that we would do every single Monday called the AOS Monday Show. But we did that for years, but life got in the way, especially for my co-hosts. Obviously, I do this full time. But Nathan is easily one of my favorite Warhammer people in the whole wide world and one of my best friends. He's just a great human being, but he's had a very busy couple of personal years. And so it's absolutely wonderful. He's going to be playing Warhammer and he's going to be playing with his Gitz. So we love that. So longtime fans of the show will be super excited to see him playing. So if we start looking at the list, we look at some of the standouts. We do have, I've also got a breakdown of the stats. We've got 3 Nighthaunt, 3 Stormcast, 3 Seraphon, 3 Gloomspite, 2 Blades of Khorne, 2 Sylvaneth, and then everyone else. Hedonites, Skaven, Disciples, Beasts of Chaos, Sons of Behemat, Ossiarch, Daughters of Cain, Ogor, Mawtribes, all 1. The one probably big thing to take away from this event is that there isn't tons of shooting. There isn't tons and tons. Maybe some of the more shooty factions that you would see out there, like Cities of Sigmar, as an example. Skaven are pretty shooty as well, aren't they? They're not currently in attendance. There are 2 Sylvaneth as well. I know that they are very popular, so that's very fun. And so we can start looking at those lists if you'd like. So we'll jump through. Adam is the only Beast of Chaos player that we've got. So just take a look at his list. He's running the sub-faction Almighty Beast Herd. And then he has got the Krunspine Incarnate is his manifestation law. He's got a Doom Bull, a reinforced unit of Bulgors, a reinforced unit of Dragon Ogres, a reinforced unit of Dragon Ogres, a unit of Ungor, and then a Bray Shaman, Ungor Raiders, and then Ungor and Ungor. Now, those Dragon Ogres are absolutely punchy as hell. And I'm unsurprised to see them in the list. They've kind of like really fluctuated in Age of Sigmar between like too good and really rubbish. So that's fun. Also, you might remember Adam as the Cockatrice guy. So Adam famously kind of had this really interesting play style, which I really enjoyed in Age of Sigmar 3, where what he would mainly be trying to do for most of the game is make the game kind of even, but then at the very end, deny the most common grand strategy at the time and then achieve his grand strategy, therefore making that kind of final point swing. It's a very clever strategy that I don't really have a name for, but it was very interesting. So yeah, absolutely great. We've got a bunch of Nighthaunt. We've got Alan Joins with his Nighthaunt. He is running Deathstalkers. He's got Alrak, Dreadscythe Harridans, Bladegeist Revenants, Stalkers, then 10 Hexwraiths, 10 Hexwraiths, and the Harrows, then Night Shrouds, and then the Bladegeist Revenants. And obviously so much has been talked about with this Nighthaunt army. Are they too strong? Like, do they need a fix? I've talked about it a lot on the show. I think a lot of people are kind of excited about it. Andy Brown also, well, excited is they're polarizing at the minute, right? They're Marmite. So then we're running Deathstalkers for Andy, and he is running Morbid Conjuration with Alinda, Dreadblade Harrows, Grimhaler, Bladegeist Revenants, some Hexwraiths again, but only 5s, and then some Bladegeist Revenants, some Grimghast Reapers, and Spirit Hosts. So a little bit more stuff, which is quite fun. Then our final Nighthaunt, just to finish this off with Rory. So he's got Lady Alinda, Grimghast, 10 Hexwraiths, 10 Hexwraiths, and then 2 Dreadblade Harrows, Cairnwraith with Reignor the Grimhaler, and then 2 lots of 10 Grimghasts. So that is, I think it's going to be interesting. With 3 at the event, you know, one of the most popular factions, they've got a good shot of winning the event, obviously, because they could get a good run. And they're also played by solid players. But at this point, especially some of the players that are here, they should be conscious of Nighthaunt being better than it needs to be. Whether or not they've got their armies ready to deal with the Nighthaunt threat, we'll have to see over the course of the weekend. But I think that would be fun. I'm going to shout out, next up, we've got our Stormcast Eternals. Now, Stormcast could be quite fun, I think. I think Stormcast have got some potential play. Andy's list isn't in, so I'm now going to fight him, which is very unsettling. I'm going to go shout at him and make sure his list is in. But our other Stormcast list is Sentinels of Black Citadel with a Knight Arcanum, 2 lots of 6 Prosecutors, which I love, with a Lord Relector, 10 Vanquishers. And then we've got these Vanguard Paladors, and then 6 Vanguard Raptors with long strike crossbows, and 3 Vanguard Raptors with long strike crossbows. And this is in the General's Regiment. This means that this Unit 6 probably is going to be given the Honor Guard ability to get +1 to hit and +1 to wound against the enemy General's Regiment. And the reason that's so strong and people are taking it is it's not just combat, which is something I expect to get FAQ'd, because this does end up meaning that you end up with something like 13 shots, 2s and 2s, Ren 2, damage 2. And also, you get to do that in your opponent's turn as well, because you're going to be shooting. In fact, I really think that shooting your opponent's turn is going to go up to 2 CP at some point, because that is an absolutely savage amount of damage, right? 13 shots, 2s and 2s, Ren 2, damage 2 at 18 inches, I think, is the range, right? No mortals, doesn't do mortals anymore. I'm pretty certain they don't do mortals anymore. So you're going to have to watch out for that. My favorite pick in here is these units of 2/6 Prosecutors. I really like this. From Gareth. The reason I like the Prosecutors is because they've got a 3d6 charge. So this also shuts down your opponent from being able to do certain battle tactics, because they can constantly be threatening to countercharge into the middle of the board. But if you're going to shoot the Raptors in your opponent's turn and countercharge in your opponent's turn, that's 3 of your 4 CP every turn. So you might not necessarily have a lot of CP available to you. So I think that's pretty spicy in here as well. I also like the Knight Arcanum as well. I think that's really fun. So very cool. So that's Gareth's Stormcast list. And then Jake, with his Stormcast list, is taking Tempest Lords, and he's got Ynastra, a Knight Velexa, a unit of Annihilators, a Stormstrike Chariot, a Vanquishers, Karazai, a unit of Gryph-hounds, a unit of Reinforced Liberators as a Prosecutors. That feels like a whole heap of stuff. Jake. I hope Jake has a great weekend. That feels like a lot of stuff, but not a lot of plan. I don't really know what the plan is there. We'll see. Now, Benjamin, we've got 2 Blades of Khorne as well. So Benjamin's taking his Blades of Khorne. So he's taking Scarbrand, a Bloodthirster in Sense of Rage, and then a unit of Fleshhounds, another Bloodthirster in Sense of Rage, and then a Slaughter Priest, a unit of Blood Reavers, and Garrex Reavers. So this is effectively 3 Bloodthirsters that are going to do massive damage, but probably smart a little list is having these little units like the Fleshhounds and the Blood Reavers to A, generate Blood Tide, but B, just camp on an objective. Just do a battle tactic. You don't have to commit your big punchy units. And instead, you just got these little units, right, to do stuff, which is a much smarter list than just taking 4 Bloodthirsters. So there's that. And then big name. Now he won. So Phil Sprignall's won 2 best overalls this year alone in Age of Sigmar 3. So popping up. And also with some really spicy, interesting lists. So I'm looking forward to looking at this. So he's running the Bloodbound Warhorde, and he's got a Rumgor Ritualist and 5 Wrathmongers. His Lord of Khorne on Juggernaut is the general with 5 Skull Reapers. Now, this is interesting because I think Phil knows he's not going to be able to get a low enough a set of drops. As an example, when you write your lists, you probably want to be 1 maybe 2 drops to guarantee the choice to go first. And some players probably don't even care about getting the choice to go first anymore. But so what Phil's doing is he's making it so that he's only got 1 unit in his general's regiment. This denies a battle tactic for his opponent if those Skull Reapers get killed before he can use it, which is called Slay the Entourage. So there's that. But also it means he can give 1 unit the buff. So the Raptors that we talked about earlier, they get +1 to hit and +1 to wound against units of the enemy general's regiment, are only going to get it against 2 units in this army versus potentially 5 units in this army if you were to build it the other way. So that's nice. That's a fun pick. And I kind of expect to see some players move around into this kind of category, but it means the Skull Reapers can get +1 to hit, +1 to wound if they want, as an example. And then a Bloodseed Creator, 5 more Skull Reapers and 10 Skull Reapers, and then a Slaughter Priest and 5 Wrathmongers and 5 Wrathmongers. So this is like an MSU build. This is really fun. I was thinking about this morning. I really like the concept of activation builds. So multiple small units, like a good example, and probably something I hate more than life itself, is 3 Fellbats in Soulblight Gravelord. You put 3 Fellbats on an objective, and let's say you're running 4 Bloodthirsters. The only thing that you can send to kill them is a Bloodthirster. Bosh, they die. But you're on a Soulblight Gravelord, so you can bring 2 back, right? And this gives you a lot of chain activation, or not chain activation, but lots of activation points where you can do a battle tactic, grab an objective, and do these other things. But when all of your big resources are put into singular points, like 6 Varangard, these kind of big, Nagash, these big single pieces, then your activation economy is much lower, and then but your resource economy is more singular. I'd really like to make a video about that at some point. I think it'd be super fun. But as you can see from Phil here, what he's done is he's maximized just the sheer volume of models, units he's got. Not maximized, but he's got a lot. And so you're constantly going to have to be wary of each one of the individual ones. Yeah. Centralized versus diffuse. That's a good way. Thanks, Bogwellis. So that's fun. So that plays a Khorne. Dave Towsey's running Disciples of Tzeentch. Now, the rumor is it's all about the Zangor. And Dave Towsey, a published author, by the way, if you want to go check him out. David is an amazing author. He's got an amazing book. You can go check it out on Amazon. David Towsey, award-winning author. I have his book. It's great. So he is running Disciples of Tzeentch. And his sub-faction is the Zangor Coven. And he is running Kairos. Now, Kairos feels like an auto-include in Tzeentch, the ability to pop those battle tactics, which is really fun. And then he's got 6 Skyfires, 3 Skyfires, and 10 Acolytes. And then he's got a Zangor Shaman, 20 Zangor, 20 Zangor, and 3 more Skyfires. So that is the big Zangor flex. This is 2020. Let's go. All Zangors all day. 600 points in Zangors, and the Skyfires in there as well. So he's going to be able to put him... Equinox is Dave Towsey's book. I should point that out. Sorry, it's called Equinox. But yeah, this will be a really interesting list. Very fun into the Khorne matchups. I think very fun into the Stormcast as well. I think that'll be fun to see. The magical dominance. Do you know what? There isn't a ton of magical dominance right now. Like Tzeentch looking like you're going to be casting pretty well so far, I'd say. I don't think there's not much shutting it down. So then we've got 2 Sylvaneth lists. We've got Dean Limeth out from Bash. Dean's wonderful, really lovely fella. And he's running Outcasts. And this is the other thing as well. Like, I think upon initial review, Sylvaneth felt a little bit weaker, but lots of people are really enjoying their Sylvaneth play. So I think that's fun, especially when they've got a lot of recursion. So we've got Alariel, a unit of Kurnoth Hunters with great bows, and then Durthu, and then a Gossipid Archers, and then Belthanos. And this feels to be a little cookie cutter at the minute. A lot of people kind of excited about the big 3, Belthanos, Durthu, and Alariel, which is a vibe, in my opinion. Tree Revs. You've also got the Manifestations of the Deepwood, which is a shocking choice. Truthfully, a shocking choice. I really thought it'd be the Morbid Conjuration because you got so many casts from Alariel, but that's pretty fun. And then, if we go speak about 5-0 Terry, although this is complicated because his name is actually Farron. You can see him over here. Terry is running Lords of the Clan, and he's running Alariel with 5 archers, a Belthanos, Spirit of Durthu, and a Warsong Revenant with the Morbid Conjuration. This is wild as a list. This is wild. So this isn't just the big 3. This is the big 5. We've got all of the big characters. 2 Durthus, the Warsong Revenant, which is our mage, and then Belthanos and Alariel. Whew, that is stunning. and the Morbid Conjuration. 5 Gossamer Archers in this list as well. That is a very interesting list to see. That's a Doom stack. That is correct. That is a Doom stack. So that'll be really fun. I'm looking forward to seeing how that pops off. We've looked at these. Our only Skaven player is Joshua. Now, obviously, some Skaven players are still getting all those new units on the tabletop. Hello, Pershua in the chat. So we've got Fleshbell Menagerie, and then we've got Thanquol on Bone Ripper, a reinforced unit of Rat Ogres, a Master Molder, a Hellpit Abomination, a reinforced unit of Rat Ogres, and those Rat Ogres are so good. Like, they're so good. And then a Master Molder, Hellpit Abomination, and Rat Ogres. The reason Rat Ogres are so good is they work a little bit like Gluttons. They can just get so many attacks. They've got an outrageous shooting attack. They are a little bit fragile. They can get knocked over a little bit. But when they do pop off, they pop off really big. Really, really big. And they can do some outrageous damage. So they're very solid. And then when you finally kill a unit, you can bring half that unit back, which I think is fun. And then all in that sub-faction. So that's cool. Luke Churches is our only Ogres player. See if he's gone big. He's gone Prophets of the Gulping God, which feels auto-include. It's the +1 to cast. And then we've got Crunchbite Incarnate. We've got a Butcher, a reinforced unit of Gluttons, a Slaughtermaster, a reinforced unit of Iron Guts, a reinforced unit of Gluttons, a second Slaughtermaster, and a smaller unit of Gluttons. This is quite interesting because it's actually quite hard to get a lot of units in an ogre army unless you take a lot of characters. And those characters, some of them especially, some of the units like the Gorge and Moorpack are very difficult to get into a list without a certain character, which feels very tough. Anyway, this will be fun. I'm really looking forward to Luke running this around because that is just a lot of beef on the table. I played ogres myself last night and it was really fun. Okay, so then we've got Matt as our only Giants player. So he's running King Broad, a Gatebreaker, a Kraken Eater, and then 3 Littles. I mean, there's not really much to say about this. Hopefully he does well. Matt's a lovely fella, an absolutely little treasure. So this will be really fun. But it's just big guys on objectives, right? Fighting it out. I think he's going to have tough time against ogres. Might have an easier time against some of the more MSU units. I'm not sure. Now we've got 3 Gloomspite lists being played at the event. Or 2 Gloomspite lists? No, 3. We've got Dom, Big Dom, so Team England player and an absolute babe, running the Trog Herd. And he's gone Trug, 5 Boingrots, the Gobblepalooza, and 5 Snarlfang Riders. I know he likes both of those 2 units because they're great for doing battle tactics. Then you see the rest of the list, like the power. So Danko Trog Boss, then 6 Rock Guts, 6 Rock Guts, 6 Rock Guts. And it is just so much output, so much survivability, right, for this army, which is very, very good. And then it really, really, it's just about the Boingrots, the Gobblepalooza, and Snarlfang all doing battle tactics for the army while you're just constantly worried about fighting the Trog Boss, the Rock Guts, and Trug. So just really, really solid. And Nathan's version of this list, he's running a Squigalanch, Danko Trog Boss again, Fellwater Trogos, and 6 Rock Guts. But then he's got a Squig Boss, Sneaky Snufflers, a Spore Splat Fanatics. Then he's got a Squig Herd, which I know he loves the Squig Herd. Then Loon Boss, 10 Boingrots, the Gobblepalooza, and some Squig Hoppers. I saw him play a practice game of this the other day, and the Squig Herd did insane damage. Absolutely insane damage. Then Natty, our Child Star. Look at this, 80% win rate over on Malarkey. This is another cool thing about Malarkey. You can kind of check out, once people start playing more games on Malarkey, you can see their performance and how they've played previously, which I think is cool. Anyway, he's running Ossiarch Bonereapers in the Kavalos Lance. He's got Nagash, who I know he loves, a unit of Immortis Guard, 2 units of Death Riders, and that unit of Morghast Harbingers. That unit of Morghast Harbingers, I've seen him play this at an event a few weeks ago. He just sends them. They get killed, or he kills loads of stuff, they get killed, and then Nagash brings the entire list back. This is his 3rd time running this list as well. Nagash then does a ton of spell damage, handed us some stuff off the board. It's a 1-drop, and he puts all the Morbid Conjuration out. A lot of people don't know that a wizard can cast any amount of of manifestations. So there are 4 manifestations available in Morbid Conjuration. So with Nagash, you can cast 9. In turn 1, you can just cast all 4 and put them on the board. Some people don't know that, but that is possible to do, right? And then 5 more spells. So that's pretty good. We haven't been counting up the number of Morby Kunj picks, actually. It's actually been not that many. It's quite an interesting list. Interesting event, I would say. Then we've got Paul Bowden with Seraphon. We do have 3 Seraphon players. All of them are excellent. Paul plays Seraphon all the time, and he's really good at it. He's from a great little gaming club. And he's got Shadowstrike Starhost with a General's Regiment, 2 units of 6 Agrodon Lancers, the Hunters with the Starstone Bowlers. Then he's got a Stink Sarsier, another unit of Hunters with Starstone Bowlers, and then 2 units of Raptidon Chargers. 1 is reinforced. And I would say that this is very solid, in my opinion. Those Raptidon Chargers are absolutely killer on the charge, as good as the Agrodon Lancers, but less survivable. The Hunters are going to shut down in a more shooty meta, because, in a more shooty meta, they might have a bit of a problem, those Hunters of Haunchy. But if there's just a lot of combat, the Hunters can make it so you can only charge on 1d6 until the start of your next turn. And because there's 2 units of them, there's potentially 3 units in the enemy army that can get shut down in that way. That's a lot of units, especially if you've committed a lot of points into stuff like the Giants. So I would say one of the things that you're going to have to watch out for is going to be if they get drawn into like the Stormcast, who's got some shooting to deal with some stuff. Anyway, this is a really fun list, this Seraphon list, and I think Seraphon are better. Their win rate hasn't been particularly high so far. I think they're better than they seem. They've got a lot of really key tech pieces, so we'll see how that works out. Our other Seraphon players are both superstars. Tavi grinds a lot of TTS and is very solid. Suncore Starhost, he's running a Slann, a unit of Agrodon Lancers, Hunters with Dart Pipes, Hunters with Bowlers, and then he's got a unit of Saurus Guard. Then he's got the Starseer, a Bastiladon with the Arc of Sotek, a unit of Croxigor, a unit of 3, and another unit of 3. So he hasn't quite gone for those loads of Lancers, and instead has gone for the Croxigor. I think Croxigor are similar to the Lancers, but their job is to just, they're very simple, they're just not as fast. So I think that's interesting. I love the Bastiladon with the Arc of Sotek as well. That's a great pick. But you still got those bowlers in there for the tech and the obligatory Slann, right? You have to have a Slann. And then Vinosh. We love Vinosh. He's great. He plays over in Derby as well. Don't hold that against him. He's got the Shadowstrike Starhost. He's got the Krunspine Incarnate instead of taking the Morby Kunj. And then he's got a Slann, Hunters with Starstone Bowlers. Then he's also got those Raptidon Chargers as well. 2 units of 5 and 1 unit of 10. Absolutely solid units. Then he's got that big, a unit of Saurus, he's got a Saurus Scarvet on Agrodon, and then 6 Lancers and 6 Lancers. And he used to play those in the last edition. So that's a lot of very fast, very hard-hitting, very fast, very hard-hitting units that are very punchy. So that's super cool to see on the tabletop. It's interesting, if you put Seraphon in Seraphon, the Hunters with the Bowlers are going to really shut down how effective the other army is into itself, which I think is fun. Also, a little hot pick here as well is the Cav keyword. So anti-Cav is actually not very common. Anti-infantry is everywhere, but anti-Cav is not as popular. So if you can find a Cav unit that does the same thing as an infantry unit, it's probably in a better position against others, which is fun. So that's them. We've got Phil, we talked about his. Rob is our only Hedonites player here, so shout out to him. Looking forward to this. So he's got the Epicurean Revelers. He hasn't put down his manifestation, or maybe it has. I'll ask him to do that, or maybe it says it down here. No, he hasn't. But what he's got in his list, he's got Shalaxi, a unit of Demonettes reinforced, a unit of 20. He's got a unit of Simramesh Twin Souls reinforced. He's got a Keeper of Secrets, and then he's got a unit of Blissbarb Archers, another unit of Demonettes, and a Slickblade Seeker unit as well. I think one of the things about taking the Keeper of Secrets means you have to commit to going into the Demonettes, because you need a unit that's going to come back from the dead. Otherwise, why are you really taking the Keeper of Secrets? But having the Twin Towers in there of Shalaxi and the Keeper of Secrets is actually super engaging. I think I'm really looking forward to seeing that. And then the Twin Souls are also really excellent, especially with the Mortals. Blissbarb Archers, you could commit to having more Blissbarb Archers, but the problem is if you do that, then what happens is your opponent, you're not bringing units back from the Keeper of Secrets. But I would probably always have one reinforced unit of Blissbarbs, because then I can shoot in my opponent's turn with a big unit, and that CP is more efficient and useful. Anyway, that's the all of the lists playing this weekend. I could also tell you about what's happening with the rounds. So it should say in the rounds here, the different... Round 1 is the Jaws of Galette, so it's going to be 5 on the board. Round 2 is Close to the Chest. Round 3 is Border War. Round 4 is the Vice. And round 5 is the Better Part of Valor. This is all chosen by the Twitch chat as well. So let me know if you'd like to see more kind of list reviews in the future. I didn't deep dive them. I just kind of gave you a quick overview of what those lists look like. And then I will be reviewing the list that wins the event. So, praying not for Nighthaunt, obviously. But I'll be reviewing those and seeing what people think, as well as doing some interviews over the weekend. And I'll be streaming the games into our Patreon Discord using this new feature that they have called a stage. So if you are someone who's in my Patreon and the Discord, then you'll be able to watch those games live. And I'm hoping to maybe get more than one of those games up. I'll see how it works. But that should be really cool as well, so everyone can check those out and see the games and listen to the players instead of listening to me play. And I'm hoping also to record the games so I can edit them down and bring you to them in the future as well. But let me know what other content I can bring you about people playing these lists. Obviously, when I review lists or I review the game and I review armies and those other things, obviously it's you as the audience that I'm doing that for. So let me know what I could do. I wanted to play in some events. I was meant to be playing this weekend, but because of a ticket issue, I forgot. And then, anyway, I didn't get that sorted, but I am playing next weekend. But I'd like to play in games as well to bring you that information. But hopefully, I'll bring you lots of information on the players at the event. And there are some amazing players at this event. So it should be really fun. Anyway, shout out to the players. Thanks for watching. Thanks to the Twitch chat. See you guys soon. And I hope you like the video. Let me know if you do in the comments.